What's up, YouTube? It's your boy AP, and holy shit, do I have a lot to talk about when it comes to mana stacking, as well as Shock Nova of Procession. For anyone who missed the Twitch/YouTube streams and wants a quick update, I fully completed all 4 Void Stones on day 1, finished out the Atlas, got some sleep, and now I'm back to make YouTube content for you guys. After we get through these videos, I should be live to power through the rest of the night on stream. Now, for everyone interested in starting Mana Stacker, I have some info for you. By this point, I have tried pretty much all the different versions. We've done Spark from level 1. I've played Ball Lightning of Orbiting, Ice Nova of Frostbolts. Now, Shock Nova of Procession. That is what we're playing right now, and it's easily been my favorite of all time. It's insanely powerful. It's by far the fastest clear. And we got all this progression done following my YouTube Spark Mage Mana Stacker League Starting Guide almost to a T. The only changes we made were dropping Ball Lightning of Orbiting, socketing in Shock Nova of Procession, and swapping out one support, which made less sense on this setup. So if you want to follow the exact same progression I did to get your easy 4-stone progressions, the guide is linked in the description, and there is a Mobalytics page with the full passive tree progression starting from level 1. And honestly, it'll carry you well past where my character currently is. So with that said, let's hop in game. I want to show you guys my character and walk through the decisions I made to take him from a broke, 0 net worth campaign character into the absolute monster that's ready to start blasting juice content. I want to make sure you guys have the gearing prior out to have this strong start as well. Through the course of the day 1 stream, I saved 5 different snapshots of my character, starting at level 71, going up all the way to level 90, which is a little bit before we killed our final Void Stone. Now, unfortunately, with the way path building works, I don't think I can even share this with you guys in the video comments because, first of all, Shock Nova of Procession did not exist, or it might still not exist when I was saving these. So we had to make a stand-in gem, just regular Shock Nova. So none of the numbers really make sense. You're just going to have to trust me that I do know how to scale these mana stacking abilities. And also, a second thing is, you can't even open this unless you opt into a weekly beta, and I don't really want to make you guys be messing around with your path of building. So I'm going to try and make this really clear on screen what is happening throughout the progression. So at level 71, that's when we swapped over from Firestorm to Shock Nova of Procession, and that costs around 15 Chaos Orbs to make the swap. A lot of people in chat were interested, including myself, to see how powerful this new ability truly is. And we are using the standard tree in the League Start progression. In fact, right now this still has the Firestorm bullshit, so maybe we shouldn't even look at this. Let's look at the next one. Here we have swapped over to the lightning-based Archmage. And we don't have to talk about the tree because, again, there's the League Starter guide, which you should be watching. For the skills, now, we are using the same 4 supports that Ball Lightning of Orbiting would use. Ball Lightning of Orbiting also had the 5th support, slower projectiles. However, Shock Nova does not have a projectile tag. So instead, you have several different options. The one I'm using is Cruelty support because I valued having evasion, energy shield, hybrid body armor. You see, we're getting a bunch of evasion here. And it's really hard to get 6 blue sockets here. It is possible, but it takes maybe about 100 chromatics. So I just hit it until we got 1 red, and I put Cruelty support in. This is a 24% more multiplier, and it's a really good gem. There are possibly better gems than this if you can get a blue socket. For example, let's talk about Controlled Destruction. This is 39% more damage, a lot more than 24%. The downside is you have 80% less critical strike chance. So we go from, well, again, don't trust these numbers, but like approximately 20 to 4%. And if you don't get a crit in the last 8 seconds, please keep in mind your 40% more multiplier from LE Overload will not proc. But if you look at here, first of all, this is the MTX I'm using. I think this makes it a little bit easier to see what's happening on screen. But if you take this off and just look at the normal one, we are hitting so many times. I haven't actually tested it out, but I'm pretty sure you could actually maintain the crit once every 8 seconds while using this Controlled Destruction support. And in order to know for sure, there will be a little diamond underneath your Shock Nova of Procession right here on the skill bar if you've crit recently, for anyone who's unaware. So those are 2 gems you could use. We could maybe also try Intensify. Honestly, I haven't done too much testing. I just know that Shock Nova of Procession, Archmage, Lightning Pen, Spell Echo, Arcane Surge, these are all incredibly powerful gems for this setup, and you're going to want to use these. And I think on this topic, I should touch on Arcane Surge support, because I had this question probably 10 times during Twitch chat. The question was, our Ascendancy gives us Arcane Surge. Why the hell are we using Arcane Surge support and wasting that support? So what Arcane Surge is a buff. And then, yes, we always have the Arcane Surge buff. But what this Ascendancy gives is we also get 20% more damage on top of that buff. That's what this is doing. And the buff that you get from this is a level 1 Arcane Surge. So the difference between level 1 and level 20 Arcane Surge would be the mana regeneration rate. The high level gives over 30%, lower is a little bit less. Also, the increased cast speed is going to be higher at level 20 versus level 1. But this doesn't matter. Like, a little bit of mana regen, a little bit of cast speed, who cares if it's level 1 or level 20? The reason you use Arcane Surge support, even though we have Arcane Surge, is because this support gives an additional more damage multiplier. Right now, this is level 17. I think that it goes up to 39% more damage at level 20. I'm not too sure. But it is a huge more multiplier on top of Arcane Surge. So you're not using this to get Arcane Surge, you're using it for the extra damage, just to make things clear. Now, going into a Shock Nova of Procession swap out of Firestorm from the campaign, what should you do? Mind Spiral Helmet gives you a lot of defense, and it's a 1 chaos item. The stat gain, what is it? 10 to 14% of maximum mana is extra maximum energy shield. We're scaling mana, so this gives us a bunch of defense, and I would say that's the line that matters the most, even though every single line in here is good. So you want to have a high roll there. We got 14 out of 15 here. Damage taken recouped as mana is also nice, because realistically, in a vacuum, it will be kind of hard to maintain your mana. As you see, if I just hold down my skill, eventually it's going to bottom out. But there are lots of ways to recover mana. They're very cheap. So that's one option. We're taking a lot of hits. A lot of that is getting regenerated as mana. The best thing to do is allocate Mind Drinker. This costs a Verdant and then 2 teal oils, which costs maybe 2 chaos. It doesn't cost anything. So Mind Drinker on the tree gives us a whopping 20% increased maximum mana, which is already huge for damage, but it gives us this stat you can't really get elsewhere called recover 2% of mana on kill. So basically, whenever you're mapping, you don't care about this huge mana spend. And when you're bossing, realistically, even on these early game budgets where we don't have perfect gear, you need to have La Vianga's Spirit, because whenever you press this, everything is free. And when you're bossing, you are taking hits, and Mind Over Matter is a defensive layer. You want to have mana for defense. So you can just keep this pressed. Honestly, you could even possibly think about having 2 of these flasks, but I didn't find that necessary. We did all the Void Stones perfectly fine with La Vianga's Spirit. Just press that, and then when you're attacking, you're casting. When your Automation Arcane Cloak is proccing, which would destroy your mana, it's all free. Singularity. These are very powerful, and they cost 1 chaos. Realistically, the flat lightning damage to spells isn't too exciting because Archmage also gives you this, and Archmage support gives you so much of it. But realistically, it's not a bad. So like getting more lightning damage is good for lightning build. This also gives you cast speed. It reduces the cost of your spells, and it gives you 100% increased damage with hits and ailments against hindered enemies. You do not need to have hinder on the gloves. Like these also just apply nearby enemies are hindered, and you will be nearby most of the scary stuff. So you can pick up 2 of these. I'm not saying these are like best in slot, but it's literally 1 Chaos Orb. I don't think you should be spending too much money on the Scepters when this will carry you through all the Void Stones very, very well. Volico's Sign, this is another 1 Chaos unique, and it gives us Life Leech. And we also have Mana Leech, so now we can regain both of them in the middle of a fight. Realistically, I didn't use this, but I bought this before I went to sleep. The Corrupted Soul, as I explained in the League Start video, makes it so you're always splitting damage between life, ES, and mana. So the mana regen, the life leech, and the ES leech are always working whenever you take a single hit. So it's the recovery is so much better. So we're gonna squeeze this in today. I'm gonna have to get better gear to fix my resistances. Realistically, what I want to do is get rid of this stupid lifesteal ring. I need to get lifesteal in the glove implicit. And it takes a blue, the blue currency. I don't even have any. But hopefully I'll get that today, and then we can wear this belt, which is a massive defensive layer. As for this ring, I put this on to do the final Voidstone because Maven is pretty hard compared to the other ones. Now, Anathema lets you have 4 curses because we have 4 power charges. And I'm only using 3. So Arcanist Brand, whenever I deploy this, it's going to deploy Conductivity, Ally Weakness, and Punishment. Now, you might not be at this stage in progression yet, and this is a little expensive. So instead, what I did in the progression, again, follow the League Star progression. I did everything in that progression to a T. It was to use Arcanist Brand connected with one of the curses and also connected with Wave of Conviction. So now, technically speaking, if I'm prepping a boss, I'm going to put down the Arcanist Brand, put down the big Sigil of Power. And when he spawns, I'm going to tag him once with Wave of Conviction and then just start blasting. And the Arcanist Brand is going to automatically just keep all the curses up. And then Wave of Conviction is a big damage boost. Aziri's Foible. I looked on trade. This is slowly climbing. I think it's like 500C right now. I bought it for like 4 divs, so I don't know. It's not really changing that much. Instead of getting a unique amulet, you could look for increased effect of non-damaging elements on a rare amulet and just get a bunch of other stats. Because realistically speaking, the one weakness of Shock Nova is it hits really, really fast. Like, look how stupid fast this is. Let's zoom in on our character. This looks like he's on some like crazy shit right now. This doesn't look normal. You are doing so many attacks. So when you do lots of small attacks, your shock magnitudes are going to be a little bit lower than you would otherwise expect. So scaling the magnitude of shock is going to do wonders for your damage. That would be what I would look for on a rare amulet. And obviously there's like the other normal damage stats like, you know, increased damage, cast speed and stuff. But specifically the increased effect of non-damaging elements, very, very high value, as well as flat mana. And that will tide you over. That's what I was using before I could afford this. The gloves and the boots is just like resistances and stuff. They're not good. This is also resistances. We got to get better resistances on these and better resistances on the ring because this is crazy and I need it. And yeah, I guess I'll just do a quick once over of the support since I can't really include the path building yet. Fingers crossed that it gets updated. Frostblink, Wave of Conviction, and as I said, you might want to automate the Wave of Conviction on the Arcanist Brand. Eternal Blessing, Wrath, you always get a free aura with Eternal Blessing, and then Clarity, Arrogance. This is not important, it's just like a little bit of life reservation. It's there because I eventually want to get a Clarity Watcher's Eye, and you need to have Clarity on your character for that. Arcane Cloak, coupled with Automation, make sure you turn that on, and it's like an aura, it needs to be turned on. Sigil of Power, again, for prepping single target damage. Faster casting, Archmage support, that Spell Echo, Frostblink. We have Archmage support here, so when I'm running through maps like this, sometimes I'm just like not killing everything because I want to go faster, and the Archmage is actually going to kill stuff with Frostblink. So, you know, if you're trying to get the completions, get all those 100 maps finished, that will make it a little bit faster. And we already talked about the curse setup down here. Looking at the passive tree, now, right before I went to bed, I saved up all my money and I got the Unnatural Instinct. We didn't do any content with this. It's just right before I went to bed. Did this go up in price? Yeah, it went up a little bit in price. And the reason I got this is because there's that, again, talked about in the video, or at least in the Spark swap video, because we'll eventually be swapping a Spark. And basically, all of this time on Archmage, or sorry, all this time on Shock Nova, we're going to be like building up our character power. So when we do swap the Spark, it's just going to be strong right out of the gates. Just any Arcmage setup, you can put a Light of Meaning here with Unnatural Instinct, and you get so much power. You can put like, depending, like on Spark, you would want increased lightning damage. On other ones, you might want increased mana. There's a few different options down here. So I'm getting this set up to buy my next purchase. And then we're going to be making some other changes on the tree, but this is like the only real thing so far. I have a shitty gem here. This should be a Watcher's Eye, probably. So maybe if we make some money today, that will get upgraded. As for the Atlas tree, I guess I can quickly show this. I think I might actually even make a standalone video going over the Atlas tree. But if you want the progression, I'll have a link for that in the video description. Basically, I started off getting shrines and all of the shaping nodes. And I personally wanted to go into Breach, so that's why I went into Breach. Otherwise, you could grab whatever you want for your main mechanic. This is what the Atlas tree looks like when you get all 4 Void Stones. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll have a standalone video going over the optimal way to complete all of this. Anyways, hope you enjoyed my day 1 update. I had a lot of fun on stream, and I look forward to seeing you guys again tonight. All right, take care.